Well folks, nobody saw this one coming. The Houston Texans, yes you heard that right, marched into a TAN-DT stadium and handed the Dallas Cowboys a humiliating 34-10 loss. This Monday Night Football matchup was supposed to be a cakewalk for America's team. Instead, it turned into a Texas-sized nightmare for the Cowboys and their fans. The Texans entered the game as heavy underdogs. They were looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. The Cowboys, on the other hand, were hoping to stop the bleeding from their own 4-game skid. Let me tell you, this game had major playoff implications for both teams. With the win, the Texans proved they are not out of the playoff hunt just yet. As for the Cowboys, their playoff hopes are hanging by a thread. This was a statement win for the Texans. They were fired up from the opening kickoff. They controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. The Cowboys looked lost and confused, like they didn't even belong on the same field as the Texans. The story of this game was the Houston Texans defense. They were all over Dak Prescott and the Cowboys offense like white on rice. Prescott was sacked 5 times and threw 2 interceptions. He looked completely out of sync with his receivers. The Texans defense was relentless, especially in the second half. They shut out the Cowboys in the final 2 quarters. The turning point of the game came in the third quarter. Texans defensive end Derek Barnett scooped up a Dak Prescott fumble and rumbled 28 yards for a touchdown. That score put the Texans up 27-10 and sucked all the air out of a TAN-DT stadium. The Cowboys' offense, which was supposed to be one of the most explosive in the league, looked pedestrian at best. Ezekiel Elliott was held to just 35 yards rushing. Tony Pollard didn't fare much better, gaining only 24 yards on the ground. Even with a nagging back injury, CeeDee Lamb tried to gut it out for his team. He was listed as questionable leading up to the game. But, you know CeeDee, he's a warrior. He wanted to be out there with his teammates, trying to help them snap out of their slump. Lamb finished the game with 6 catches for 75 yards. Those are decent numbers, but it wasn't enough to spark the Cowboys' offense. They were shut down by a hungry and determined Texans defense. You gotta give Lamb credit for playing through pain. He's a true competitor. But let's be honest, this loss is not on CeeDee Lamb. The entire Cowboys team looked out of sorts. There were missed assignments, dropped passes, and just an overall lack of execution. Before the game even started, there was a scary incident at TAN-DT Stadium. A large piece of metal fell from the roof. Imagine that, folks. You're walking into the stadium, excited for the game, and a chunk of metal nearly lands on your head. Thankfully, no one was injured. But it was a frightening reminder that even in these state-of-the-art stadiums, accidents can happen. The falling debris definitely cast a shadow over the game. It was a distraction for both teams, and it's hard not to wonder if it played a role in the Cowboys' flat performance.